What's up guys, Foxen here, Attack on Titan chapter 113. So time for the more casual follow-up discussion to this latest juicy chapter. As always, I will be taking your Twitter questions. But first, there's a couple of topics I want to touch on. In this latest chapter, we had Levi versus the Beast Titan round 2 or 3, depending on how you're counting. Interestingly, I've seen a lot of people split on this. Some people are cheering Levi, saying that the Beast Titan had it coming another time. On the other hand, I have seen a good chunk of people disappointed that, oh, it's really just history repeating itself. And in this case, it's Isayama doing the same thing again. The Beast Titan losing again to Levi, even though this time he was supposedly prepared. So far it has been a few days since the chapter got officially released. So go ahead and chime down below, what do you think? Do you still think Levi was too overpowered? Or was it justified? I'm gonna get back to this topic. The first thing I actually want to talk about is that picture that showed those ships and troops storming the island. I've seen a lot of confusion about this. And I could really see why. When I first saw this panel, I had to do a double take too. I'm like, oh crap, Marley is attacking as these guys are speaking. No wonder Zeke as a Beast Titan wanted to fricking haul ass. Forget about this guy dying in like half a year. But that's actually not the case at all. If we go by the more likely scenario, that's really just Zeke's imagination going wild. Although not too wild, to be honest. Zeke does see the impending danger of Marley coming close, which is why they really need to speed up their timeline. I don't actually discount the possibility of this taking place right now, although I put that at like 5 or 10%. Right now, I really only see the warriors and some of the Marley troops on the island. But next up, this actually leads into another interesting confusion, which is this panel shot showing Zeke and Hobo Eren. Was Zeke in this panel telepathically communicating with Eren, Hobo Eren? To be honest, when I first read this panel, I thought the same thing, but then I noticed a Hobo Eren. Keep in mind that Zeke has no idea how Eren looks right now. If the Beast Titan did have some special communication linked to Eren somehow, then Zeke would surely be connected to the man-bun current Eren, not the freaking Hobo Eren. For this potential Beast telepathic connection, I actually seen a lot more confusion about this one than the previous one. And like I said, totally fair, it kinda almost got me too. Alright, so putting the Beast Titan and Zeke aside for a second, let's go back to the freaking goddamn Levi Ackerman. There still is a question about whether this guy is too overpowered. Surprisingly, I've seen the question about whether this guy is overpowered at all. At this point in the Attack on Titan story, it's pretty undeniable that Levi is in fact overpowered. The thing is, I think the term overpowered has this negative connotation to it. But at least when I'm using it in terms of Levi being overpowered, I'm not saying it in a negative way. When you think of overpowered, you potentially think of characters like Goku, Naruto at the end of the Boruto Dad series, definitely One Punch Man, and the list goes on. When you have those characters in comparison when you talk about overpowered, you then look at Levi, and Levi definitely can't do what those characters can. Levi's not about to do a Titan Kamehameha. On the other hand, Levi is freaking overpowered, literally humanity's strongest in the Attack on Titan world. Sure, you could argue that he needs a gas and freaking blades, but come on, so far that hasn't been an issue so far. Possibly the only thing that could challenge Levi right now is Eren's Warhammer Founding Attack Titan. Watch, all of these guys are going to release the Wall Colossal Titans, and Levi without gas is just going to slash one, and then jump to the other one, slash, and do that like 8 million times and kill all of them. After that happens, you're still going to get people saying that he's not overpowered. Alright, so getting into the final topic before taking your questions. This is actually regarding Zeke's glasses. So there's been a question about why Zeke as a Titan Shifter would even need freaking glasses. I think it's expected that once you become a Titan Shifter, that's gonna heal everything, including your potential bad eyesight. Now at the end of this chapter, Zeke is having some flashback to the former Mr. Glasses guy. We've seen this guy appear a couple times in some flashbacks. Now we actually got a name, Zaver. And I've gotten a lot of questions about who this guy is. I think it's pretty clear at the end there that Zeke wants the glasses since they hold some special connection to this former guy, a former warrior. Alright, so getting on to your questions, starting with the Patreon Discord server. If you are interested in joining this exclusive Discord server, keep in mind that this is a Patreon perk. Please consider becoming a Patreon supporter to get exclusive access. You could always find me there, and we have dedicated channels for Attack on Titan, SAO, My Hero Academia, and so on. And a huge thank you to Patreon supporters for supporting the channel. Alright, so first question comes from Drafter. Do you think Zeke will escape again? Well, just looking at Zeke's desperate face there in the last few pages, this guy definitely got caught with his pants down. I really do think that Zeke had no extra plan for this situation. This guy got super overconfident. I think it's even more clear if you reread the chapter. So whether Zeke is gonna escape again? If you mean by himself, I definitely doubt it. I mean, if Levi actually lets this guy run away again and escape, come on, Levi should just join him at that point. Next question from Yasin the MVP. Why is Eren a savage? Are you talking about Eren being a savage for what he did at Marley? Or are you talking about a savage for what he just did to Mikasa and Armin? If that's the case, it most likely has to do with whatever plan he has set up with Zeke, and definitely all the other titans influencing him. I definitely recommend my video going in depth on this new Rogue Eren. What is going on inside of his mind? Next question up from Spark the Cake. Do you think that Zabber was the holder of the Beast Titan before Zeke? Regarding the glasses and armband, did those small details prove that? So yes, if you actually look at this guy, we got in a very clear picture of this guy at the end of the chapter. You can see that he has a darker colored band, and of course this guy trying to teach the young Zeke how to throw a freaking baseball. I think it's like 95% chance this guy's a Beast Titan, maybe 99? Unless Isayama really wants to throw a curveball. Watch, this guy's gonna be like the Armor Titan, or the previous Colossal Titan, but that would be too random. Next up, final question from Kashmir Fox. Something I was wondering, what do you think would happen if a pure Titan ate an Ackerman? So mindless Titan eating something like Mikasa or Levi, since he only got 2 now. Watch, there's gonna be a secret one coming in the story later. The thing is, if some Titan actually ate Mikasa or Levi, that Titan would freaking die. Those Ackerman was just slash out of its stomach. But really, assuming the Ackerman doesn't struggle, the 2 Ackerman that remain aren't even full Ackerman. Assuming some unknown Ackerman got eaten by a Titan, I really don't think anything special would happen. I mean, right now the Ackermans do have some vague connection to Titans in the past, so I gotta get more info on that. The thing is, the Ackermans aren't one of the 9 Titan shifters, so these guys should just die. Anyway, getting to a whole lot of your Twitter questions. First off, for anyone saying thank you, saying that the videos are awesome, saying how you guys enjoy what I'm doing, thank you so much. Just hearing those comments really encourages me to keep on making these videos. So a huge thank you right now at the beginning to everyone. Next thing, if you do want to send in Twitter questions in the future, make sure you follow me, include the hashtag, please no pictures. Only one question, and please make it so your question is readable. I've seen some of you mention that I'm reading some of these questions super fast. The thing is, I probably messed up on reading the question like 5 or 10 times, so I'm really just trying to go through it. The weird grammar or misspellings was most likely the reason. Anyway, getting into the first question by Alexis. Do you think Levi's genetic makeup has something to do with his ultimate power, the Ackerman and Eldian combination? So Levi Ackerman's overpoweredness. And this actually reminds me that I do plan to make a full video going in depth on the Ackerman. Hopefully by next week, if not the week after. For this question regarding Levi being half Ackerman and half Eldian or some mixture. I'm not necessarily sure it has anything to do with the Eldian side, but definitely the Ackerman side. At this point, there should have been thousands, maybe tens of thousands, if not more Ackermans in the past. I still think we're gonna get pieces of the flashback of the Great Titan War. I'm sure the Ackerman played a role in that. At this point, Levi is using the power of all these freaking Ackerman that had so much battle experience. I think that's strictly the answer to why he's so overpowered. Next question up from Shivan. Do you think Eren knows about Floch's actions with Keith? And then for the second part, I did actually address that in my latest review. Go ahead and check the video out from a few days ago. The thing is, in the state of mind that Eren is right now, I'm thinking that Eren doesn't know and he doesn't even give a damn if he would know. It might be a different story if Floch actually killed Keith, but he didn't. That might have also been why I didn't feel too bad about the whole situation. Next question up from Angernon. If Mikasa is now free, does that mean if things go wrong, Mikasa and Levi would fight against Eren and show the world that they killed him, but secretly making Eren safe in somewhere? Eren controls them, like maybe by subliminal activation of their mind. Alright, so while reading your question, I really got this Code Geass vibe. Pretending that Eren died, then he's secretly alive somewhere else. Which I really don't think Isayama's going that direction. Unless potentially you get this whole weird ending where Eren gets all the Titan powers and just lives alone till the end of time. That itself could be a curse. First off, I don't exactly think that the Ackerman work that way. If anything, I recall the popular theory about the Ackerman about them being this failed Titan experiment. So no, I don't see this secret activation being a thing for the Ackerman, and I definitely don't see Isayama going that direction. Next question from Backend. Do you think there's a reason that Levi's eyes look kind of glowy? Talk about the whole Ackerman bond with Erwin. So I'm sure you've seen it in the anime if you're a huge Levi fan. His eyes glowing bluish. I mean, just going based off of memory, you do see it from the No Regrets series. You saw it in the Kenny vs Levi fight, or at least in the Crystal Titan Cave. You did see it again in the latest chapter. And of course there was the time where he beat the Beast Titan the first time where he was chasing his ass. To be honest, it really goes back to whether Isayama had planned all of this back when the No Regrets series was done, or whenever it was done the first time in the anime. I think I'm forgetting one time in season 1. The thing about that is that it could have this deeper meaning, but I really think it was just done for the anime initially cause it looks cool, and then they just kept doing it. Next question from Ania. Could the Yeager brothers have made a plan to activate the rumbling for the upcoming war? Zeke and Eren were looking impatient to locate where to meet each other in the last 2 chapters, and the enemies are already on their way to Paradise Island. Well, I guess as far as we know, Marley is already there. I don't know if they're actually going to be sending more troops, or if more troops are on the way right now. If you actually look back to when these two arrived on the island, which was after the attack on Marley, they were supposed to have this testing and the rumbling. Hanji was helping out with that. Unfortunately, Zachary put an end to that, and really just shot off Eren in freaking jail. I think right now there still is a question about what exactly they want to do with the rumbling, besides the freaking obvious. I mean, they could unleash all the Wall Colossal Titans and just destroy the whole world and just leave Eldians behind. Perfect ending. Either way, I think they're going to be forced to use them, since like you mentioned, Marley and some of the warriors are right on the island, or close by. Next question from Riona. Good day. Which one do you think is dominant in Levi's veins, Ackerman or Eldian blood? AB Heart. Because it stated that any person of another race can be Eldian as long as a parent has Eldian blood. Same goes for Ackerman. I'm just curious. I actually recall Isayama addressing this question before in the Q&A, although I think that specifically was regarding royal blood. So don't quote me on this, but I think it was, if you're Ackerman and royal blood, which one will be the most dominant? At the time, Isayama answered that both of them would be equally prevalent in the person. So I'm just gonna go ahead and apply Isayama's answer that time to this question. So for someone like Levi, he should be half Ackerman and half Eldian blood, give or take. Next question from Leah K. Do you think that Levi and Eren will have a fight, Ackerman versus Titan? And will Eren end up killing Levi? Alright, so now this is a very popular topic. The Beast Titan obviously didn't kill Levi, and now some people are thinking that Levi cannot be defeated at all. However, we still have the Warhammer Founding Attack Titan in the story, and I'm pretty sure that everyone wants to see that matchup, me included. So, is Levi versus Eren in our future? I gotta say, I would hope so. At least from a story element point of view. I mean, it is nice seeing these battles, but in the case of Eren versus Levi, there is so much freaking weight behind this. There's so much history behind these two guys, with each other. As to whether the very overpowered Eren could kill the overpowered Levi, I'm not sure. Or rather, let me say this. I definitely do think that Eren has a good chance at beating Levi. Will he actually kill Levi? Or more specifically, will Isayama have the Titan-sized balls to kill off his most popular character? I'm leaning towards no. The thing is, I could see Levi getting severely injured, but still surviving. That might be one of the ways to get him out of the story. Next question from Jor the Destro 1. What do you think of Zeke saying that only he and Eren understood? So I think this might be a reference to either some of the stuff happening in the past related to the Titan memories. Whether that's something regarding the Great Titan War, the original Ymir, how Titans came to be, that still is the $1 million question. Next question from Dominic Fortes. Do you think Floch knows what he's doing, or do you think he's being controlled by Eren? I mean, so far I think it's pretty clear that all of the Eren cultists are being manipulated by Eren, potentially even Zeke. Whether they're physically being controlled by some Titan founding Titan power, I doubt it. Especially Floch. I mean, everything he's doing goes along with his freaking attitude from years ago. Next question up from Pikachu Polka. And oh my god, that profile picture. Oh, another Floch question. Do you think that Floch might be doing some stuff behind Eren's back and all hell is gonna break loose? So I really had to think about this question. Do you really give Floch that much credit? On the other hand, he did want the other cultist guys to stay quiet about the wine situation. I got a feeling that the only thing Floch was doing was related to the wine thing. I don't know, maybe I'm not giving this guy enough credit. If anything, I do think Yelena is doing something in the background, and that's gonna unleash hell soon. Speaking of which, where is Yelena? How many chapters has it been since we've seen her? Next question from Nick Sonder. After Eren drank Miss Tiber's juices, his eyes widened. What do you think he saw? So he definitely must have seen the Warhammer Titan's memories. The thing is, I think specifically he saw Miss Tiber. It could have been right after she got out of the shower, was looking at a mirror. You know, it could have been like the time that he saw Frida in the mirror. Just a little bit more steamy. Next question from Billy Smith. Will the captured Zeke be able to turn the other people who drank the wine into Titans? Or will they turn into Titans on their own soon? So yes, that's something I actually brought up in my review, which is why Levi should have really taken out Zeke, or at least saved one of the small Titans. The thing is, you still have all these people that are infected on the island, unfortunately. As soon as Zeke gets within range, they're gonna freaking turn. So now you really can't do anything with this guy. Unfortunately, I really do think these guys are gonna come back into play, the ones that are infected. Although I don't see them turning into Titans on their own. Who knows, potentially the warriors are gonna scream, then they're gonna go into Titan mode somehow. Or maybe even Annie. The thing is, I think it's almost guaranteed that we're gonna see Pixies turn into a Titan. Next question up from the Titan universe. Do you think that one of the mindless Titans will end up needing Zeke and bring a new Titan shifter into play? Or will Levi end Zeke himself? At this point, I think Zeke is definitely too an important player to just kill him off. At this point, Zeke has like 6 months left? Maybe a little more, a little less? Assuming that Attack on Titan will end on like chapter 130. I don't think Zeke is gonna die until like 5 or 10 chapters before the end. If anyone does end up beating Zeke, I think the one that has the highest possibility is Eren Yeager. Watch, that's gonna be the next betrayal. Next question from Tejas? At the start of the chapter, we see some people feeling electricity in their bodies. But Zeke at the moment is captured by Levi. So how do you think he will turn the rest into Titans? I mean, I think Zeke only has to get close enough for them to hear. I do wonder what the range is. Then again, if this guy goes into the Beast Titan mode, that should further increase his range, I think. I don't know, they need to get all of these guys some Sony noise cancelling headphones right now. Move them as far away as possible to the other side of the island. Next question up from Link the Hero of Winds. Do you think that Zeke will end up turning the rest of the military into mindless Titans, considering all the foreshadowing surrounding Falco? The thing is, if you notice, Falco has been traveling with Hanji that's being led by Floch to the Titan Forest. Or so we think. Unfortunately, I do think Falco is a dead man walking, or dead kid walking. Although one thing you're mentioning about foreshadowing, if they actually have some wine left, I have a suspicion that the Eren cultists have already drank some wine. That's the part that I'm not sure whether Eren is aware of. In other words, there's going to be a mindless Titan army for the Beast Titan. Watch. Next question from the Meme Queen. So I've been wondering about this for a while. What role will Annie play in the next few chapters? Alright, so talking about million-dollar questions, this is the other one. What will Annie do? Annie, are you okay? The thing is, assuming Attack on Titan ends on chapter 130, we're like at what, 17 chapters left? I don't know, each month we're getting less and less potential Annie screen time. Unfortunately, I'm really starting to suspect that Isayama had no idea what to do with Annie. Potentially, if Attack on Titan was going to end on chapter 90, we would have never found out whatever happened to Annie. The Attack on Titan story would have just ended. So I don't know, potentially Annie's going to play a huge role in maybe commanding the Wall Titans. I mean, she does have that scream ability. Watch, they're going to unleash some of the Colossal Titans from the walls in the district. Not all of them. And then Annie's going to bust out and call the Titans back. Next question up from Fato. Just wondering, do you think Armin is going to break out of prison and fight Eren? So I've actually seen a couple questions regarding what Armin's going to do. The thing is, I think they're being kept in some underground jail. There's also the other thing I mentioned about the Colossal Titan being restricted. He got this big ass thing called the God of Destruction, but since it's Armin, you could so easily restrict him by putting people around him. Apart from doing some partial transformation underground, I really don't see Armin doing anything, unless they bring him upstairs. Next question up from Mr. Pioneer. If you were in Attack on Titan, would you join the Jaeger faction or say hello to the government? Interesting question. I guess it would really depend on where I was in the world at the time. Would I be in the military? Would I just be some peasant? Would I be some high-ranking official? Cause let's be honest, if I was in the Attack on Titan world in episode 1, I would have been freaking dead. I would have been some Titan food. I mean, if I was just some regular person in the Attack on Titan world in the current story, just looking at the situation inside of the walls, most likely like everyone else, I would just be rooting for Eren. I mean, most of these guys don't even know the current situation. Not fully. Next question from Abi. Do you expect the Attack Titan versus Beast Titan battle soon? I'm kinda surprised at seeing this question. After just seeing the Beast Titan get his ass beat a third time, I can't say I'm really excited to see this guy battling anytime soon. And come on, that wouldn't be a fight. That would be a freaking massacre. At this point, Eren would just one-shot him. Next question up from Nana. Do you think that Levi is taking Zeke to Sheik on Shiina? So this question actually goes back to what I mentioned about Zeke potentially still being a danger to everyone. Of course, Levi just chopping this guy into sushi, he can't transform into the Beast Titan. The thing is, this guy could still scream. That's why you can't take him anywhere near town, at least not anywhere where we have Titan soldiers. This brings up the question about whether Levi is going to stick to his original plan, which is going to the secret location where Historia is located. I got a feeling they're heading there, or potentially close to that area. Let's just hope that it's super far away from this district. Next question up from Tamago. I think Zeke will use his scream at least one more time before dying. and I think Falco will turn into a Titan and end up eating Zeke. I don't know how it would happen, but I don't see other development for Falco since he ingested wine. What do you think will happen to him? The thing is, everyone is expecting this guy to turn into a mindless Titan and then eat one of the Titan shifters. I mean, just knowing Isayama, I think that Falco is going to turn into a Titan that potentially is going to get killed off. Somewhere nearby, Reiner is going to notice. Who knows, potentially at this point, Falco is going to end up eating the Jaws Titan, or the Card Titan. Although I don't want Pete to die yet. Next question from John. Do you think that Annie is going to return and get a closure to her storyline? Oh yeah, so back to the popular question about when the female Titan will return. Will she return? For this, you're actually bringing up closure for her storyline. And he did mention returning to her father. Unfortunately, I don't think we're actually going to ever see anyone returning to Marley. If anything, Annie's going to wake up, join the Great Titan War, and potentially be eaten or killed off. Unfortunately, that's the only closure I do see for her. Next question from JJ's WWE Asylum. What do you think of Reiner and his story having a reunion, but his story and Porco having an interaction because Porco ate Ymir and her memories? I think this actually goes back to something I mentioned a super long time ago, that potentially Reiner as the Armored Titan, and the Jaws Titan by extension of Ymir's memories, would eventually switch over to Paradise Island's side. The thing is, if Eren is secretly working with Historia, potentially that could be one way for Eren to win them over, and then collect their Titan powers. Next question from Get Wi-Fi. Are you on Team Jaeger Brothers or on Team whatever LD is left? Levi, Armin, Mikasa. To be honest, I'm not too sure. I don't know, I think I'm like 50-50. I still want to get a little more taste of what exactly Eren's plan is. Some concrete thing. So right now, I think I'm leaning towards Levi's side, because he's still there. Next question from Mysterious Titan. If Zeke had miscalculated, then what would he have done different if Levi had intentions to remain a god? Nani? I had to read this a few times. I have no idea what you're trying to ask. Please tell me down below if you have an idea. Sorry about that. Next question up from Nicholas. Who do you think suffered the most, Keith or Levi? I mean, at this point, I vaguely remember Keith was even a thing. If it wasn't for the recent Uprising arc anime, I think my memory would have been even more blurry. So I definitely have to go with Levi. This poor overpowered guy has suffered so much. At least for that reason, I do want him to remain alive at the end of the series. Next question up from Mavko. Do you think the Warriors will find Zeke and fight Levi, and who do you think will win? Right now, Levi should be heading to some secret location. Unless Levi wants them to find him, I really don't think anyone's gonna find them. And at this point, if you're asking who's gonna win when Levi's involved, unless Levi has no blades and no gas, Levi is definitely gonna win. Maybe even easily. Next question from Vindri. Hi Foxen, if Hanji dies, do you think Levi will be chosen as the next commander of the few members of the Surrey Corps? Alright, so I'm really hoping that Hanji does not die. Although if she does, I think Levi would be able to do the job, although I don't think that's a good idea. I mean, do you really want to restrict your most powerful soldier? The one that should be in the front lines? If Hanji unfortunately does go away, then the job should naturally go to Armin. Next question up from Arya Fire. What do you think about Eren meeting up with Zeke, then Eren commanding all Titans to commit suicide or eat each other? What the fuck? What? Are you talking about both of them unleashing all the Wall Colossal Titans and them just killing one another? I mean, I guess that could be a thing, but why? If you're just gonna do that, I mean, just self-suicide? I don't know, am I understanding this question correctly? Next question up from Armin. Do you think this could happen? Eren gains all Titan powers, then faces Armin and lets him win, and Armin will break the curse. Then something about Armin seeing the truth and eventually having a baby with Mikasa. Alright, so I keep on mentioning Armin and Mikasa potentially hooking up. I don't know, but maybe I'm buying into the idea. That's definitely not gonna be popular. As for Armin ultimately being the one that ends up getting all the Titan powers, I think that's been one of the super popular ideas. Either Eren's gonna do it, or Eren's gonna sacrifice himself, then Armin's gonna be the last man standing. It could happen. Sounds like a very Code Geass type of ending though. Next question from Undead Alex. Do you think that Eren has a secret plan that Zeke doesn't know about? Would Mikasa kill Eren if she had to? Alright, so I'm gonna take the Mikasa question. I'm really hoping that Mikasa is going to be separated and finally have some disconnection from Eren after what happened. So potentially besides seeing Levi versus Eren, I do want to see the other setup of the other Ackerman versus Eren, which is Mikasa going up against Eren, not necessarily to the death. So would Mikasa kill Eren if she had to? I'm really hoping that she's going to get to that point. Whether it's actually going to happen, I doubt it. Next question from Invalid. Hello Foxen, hope you're doing well. I'd like to ask about the difference between the Wall Colossal Titan and the Colossal Titan Shifter. Or more specifically, why doesn't the curse apply to those within the wall? The real only reason is because the ones inside of the walls aren't a Titan shifter. If anything, they should just be mindless Titans, except in colossal size. I got a feeling that somehow in the past the Founding Titan was able to make all these colossal Titans, the mindless versions, and also smaller ones, potentially even mindless armored Titans and mindless female Titans. Really the only difference when you compare it to someone like Armin is that Armin could use a freaking nuke. Next question up from Hanto. Where do you think Levi is taking Zeke? Levi is definitely taking the Beast Titan to his kinky dungeon. Next up from Dylan. DC at the bottom of the chapter says to be continued in the March issue. Okay, so about this, I've seen a lot of confusion. Yes, the next chapter is the March issue, which comes out in February. They're always 1 month ahead. I believe most magazines work this way, even in the US I think. Next question up from Davis. So when Levi cut off Zeke's feet, Zeke screamed in pain, or did he? Do you think it's possible that he commanded the other people who drank the wine and possibly turned them into Titans? I mean, just going based on that super desperate expression on Zeke's face? Like I've been saying, I definitely don't think this guy had a plan at all. This guy was knocked out, in freaking pain. He's got this chunk of metal in his freaking stomach. I could only imagine how that feels. So no, I don't think this guy is secretly commanding or has any plan in motion in the background. Not right now. Next question from Fayez. What if Eren collects all Titan powers then gives his Titan power to a person with royal blood? Well, if you go based on the popular assumption or theory is that collecting all Titan powers will bring back the original founding Ymir Titan, whatever that was. So who knows, potentially if that happens, then you give it to someone of royal blood like Historia, you could quote unquote break the curse, which I still question whether that's actually a thing. Next question from JDK20. How do you think the Warriors' involvement will affect Eren and Zeke's plan, especially now that Zeke is at the mercy of Levi? The better question might be how Levi is going to affect Eren and Zeke's plan. So assuming Eren and Zeke magically end up together again in the district, I got a feeling they're going to get some rude awakening and interruption by the Warriors coming in. I think it's been a couple of chapters since we last saw Peak. Next question up from Distract Enemies. Let's say that Eren can control Ackermans can force Mikasa to fight Levi. So I think someone asked a very similar question earlier. I really don't think Eren or the Founding Titan have that power to control the Ackerman. If Mikasa does fight Levi, it's not gonna be due to Eren controlling her somehow. Next question from Paul. What do you think will happen to everyone else that drank the wine? Will they be able to transform later on? Unfortunately, it seems that these guys are tainted forever, or as long as the Beast Titan lives. Like I said, Levi has to get the Beast Titan away from other tainted soldiers. Otherwise, you're gonna have this mindless Pixies Titan. The thing is, I'm not discounting the possibility of potentially another Titan potentially transforming those guys. Who knows, like Annie or Eren, one of the warriors, somehow. I definitely don't think we're done with seeing mindless Titans in the story just yet. Next question up from Anonymous. What do you think will happen to Hanji in the next chapter? Alright, so this brings up one of the things I mentioned in the previous video. Right now, Hanji should be leading Floch to the Titan Forest. Of course, these guys are not going to find anything there, except for maybe Zeke's glasses. I really hope that Hanji's not going to be taken out by Floch. I could see this guy just getting outraged. On the bright side, I do see Floch being a little bit of a coward and not actually going through with this stuff. I mean, he did make other people beat up Keith. I could only imagine both of these guys had some history together. The thing is, I don't think he hates Hanji or even dislikes her. Of course, Hanji is also female, so I'm hoping that at least Floch will be merciful. Next question up from Dark and Despair. Do you think that Eren will eat the Beast Titan or Historia? Right now, that really depends on where Amazon delivery man Levi is taking the Beast Titan. Is he going to express deliver the Beast Titan to Eren or Historia? Either way, I'm really glad that we're finally getting a backstory for the Beast Titan. Come on, we gotta find out what's going on in that head of his. Next question up from Samuel. What do you think Eren and Zeke's big plan is? And do you think it will come into fruition? So right now, their big plan should be the Rumbling. The big question is why? What are they planning to do with all those Wall Colossal Titans, besides the obvious? The thing is, I don't think both of these guys are in sync with what should happen with the Wall Titans. Potentially Zeke wants to use them to destroy all the other nations, or at least their military. Eren on the other hand wants freedom. Next question out from Kevin. If Eren learned all this information about the Ackerman from Zeke, could he have fed Eren misleading information as partially true so it would turn him against her? And then something about the Mikasa love thing, which I don't think is a factor almost at all. The thing is, I think this brings up some of the stuff I mentioned previously. There's a question about how much information Zeke actually knows. Does he know the full information about the Ackerman? Does Eren know the full information about the Ackerman? Did he just not reveal some information to Mikasa? I'm leaning more towards that being the case, although I don't discount the possibility of Zeke potentially giving people misinformation, especially at this point. And then the final question by Ahmed. Do you think that Eren is possessed by the Warhammer Titan? So this goes back to Eren being influenced by the Titan memories. So for this topic, I definitely gone in depth on this. Definitely check out my half-hour video explaining what's going on inside Eren's head. Anyway, thank you guys for watching. We're way past the 1 hour mark, or at least I am. Do me a favor and go ahead and smash that colossal thumbs up. We're like a month away from the next chapter. But if you really want to start sending in questions now, go ahead and tweet me your question for Attack on Titan chapter 114. Again, just make sure it's one question. Make sure to follow me, make sure to include the hashtag, and if you could also make your question unique or fun, that would be lovely. Anyway, if you did make it this far, definitely keep in mind that Attack on Titan isn't the only anime out there. Go ahead and check out my top picks for the top 10 anime from 2018. There are some gems out there. Go ahead and enjoy that, and I'll see you guys later.